Hello, my name's Mel, welcome to my world, and if you're new to my channel, I'm currently turning this full transit into a stealthy off-grid, go anywhere, sleep anywhere, campervan, and today my work surface has finally turned up. Now I've put it in place just to make sure it fits before I unwrap it, so all I've got to do now is actually unwrap it, cut a hole in it, drop my sink and my gas combination unit into place, and then I can carry on building the kitchen. Sounds simple, right? Well, that fits how it should, perfectly. So here's the 2 gas ring sink combo unit that's going to be going into this van. It's pretty standard practice. These are quite popular and for good reason. They're really practical. They are a nice unit at the end of the day. They are a bit expensive, but when they're fitted they do look really nice. Now, cutting a hole in a work surface for some people can be quite daunting, terrifying even, and it would be a lot easier if these sinks come with a template, but they don't, so you need to make your own template. But how do you do that? Well, I'm going to show you a really simple, easy way to do it using the box that the sink comes in. Right, I'm going to take this out and show you how to mark it out. Really simple way of doing it. Right, now allow me to give away a little trade secret. I'm quite stoked about this. So how do I make this template for this sink? It's really simple. It would be simpler if they supplied you with a template, but they don't. They don't supply with a template, and the reason they don't is because they are really simple to make. Now, the first thing we want to do is determine what type of sink we've got and how the sink is fitted to the work surface, how it's held down, because some of these sinks are screwed down from the top underneath the lid. But this one is clamped in from underneath. So there's 2 different types, and it's important you know what one you've got. It's quite simple, because if you open the lid you'll see the holes where the screws go. So I'll come to that in a minute. Let's find out how we mark it out first. The first thing you want to do, once you've determined what sink you've got, is stick the lid down. Get some masking tape just to stop the lid opening, because we need to flip it upside down. So you flip it upside down, put it on your box, and it's a really simple process of just marking it out with a marker pen. Mark it all the way around, and then take your sink and put it somewhere safe. And I suggest you don't put it on the floor, because someone could trip over it and break it. So now you've got your, it wouldn't be good. You've marked it out. Now if you used to cut this out, the sink would simply just fall straight through. That's no good. We need to get a lip in there. We need a 5mm lip. All these Dometic sinks, if you work 5mm in from that line, you're going to be pretty spot on. So how do we get this line? It's really simple. So this is one I've made earlier just to save a bit of time. Now all this cladding all around me is 5mm thick. So what I do is get a piece of cladding like this, just cut a strip off, well this was in the scrap box, and then place this, let's come a bit closer, on the inside edge. So this line's quite thick because it was done with a marker pen. So we want the inside edge, lay it up against the inside edge, try not dropping your pencil, and then making a line like that, and then gradually just work your way all the way around that edge. And when you get to these corners, just mark it, like do a little 1/2 inch line at a time all the way around, just 1/2 inch at a time, and eventually you work your way all the way around that edge on that corner, and you end up with a line like this all the way around, and that's the line you cut. So once you've marked it all the way around, you cut it out, and cut it out really carefully, because this isn't the piece you want. This is the part you want. This is your template. This is what becomes your template, not the box. But you can use the box to make sure your sink fits once you've cut it out, just like I did. I made sure that the sink actually fit in that hole and there's no gaps anywhere, and it fits nice and snug. Job done. Perfect. So we know that if we use this as a template, we know the hole's going to be the same size as that. Now, getting back to those sinks with the screws, here's the tricky bit. Those ones that are screwed down, if you were to cut this out in your work surface like this, when you go to screw it down, you won't have anything to screw to because you've cut it away, right? So when you get your template like this, if you have got one of those sinks with the screws, you're going to need, in most cases, I haven't got my rule, you need to do this, just mark off and cut the corners off. You need to actually cut these corners right off, and then when you mark it out on your work surface, you end up with those squarer corners, and that gives you somewhere to screw your sink down. Very important. Do make sure, if you've got one of those sinks with the screws, that once you've cut your template out, you remember to remove the corner edges where the screws have got to go, because then when you mark it out on your work surface, you're not taking that material away. You're leaving yourself that extra bit of lip for the screws to go in. Right, I hope that makes sense. Right, I'm going to carry on now. I'm going to put this in place, work out exactly where it's got to go, mark around it, cut it out with my jigsaw and drop the sink into place. Right, well, I didn't film myself using the jigsaw and cutting the hole out because, quite frankly, I wanted to concentrate on what I was doing rather than concentrate on filming, because I really don't like using a jigsaw. It just, I can never quite get a nice edge. You know, it's always like, yeah, it's horrible, horrible. Don't like them at all, but there, I've made a hole anyway. So now, hopefully, fingers crossed, the sink will fit in that hole and hide that nasty edge. Oh no, it only fits perfect, just as I predicted it would. There you go, that's what it looks like. Try and give you a shot of the kitchen. There you go, that's a nice shot. That's what the kitchen's going to look like, so I'm really pleased with that. That's coming along really well. Now that is just dropped into place, it's only just temporarily resting there. I still need to turn those little feet and screw them up to hold it down, and then I'll need to add a little bit of gas, a little bit of water, put in some drainage, 12 volt electricity for the piezo ignition, and then it's all good to go. Job's done. Right, now pay attention, because this part is really important. This is all about safety, gas safety. Now I'm not a gas fitter, I'm not registered as a gas fitter, so I'll take no responsibility. Alright, once you've fitted your gas, do get it checked out by a professional, just to give it a thumbs up, make sure it's all okay. Now I've seen people make this mistake, so this is why I want to briefly cover this, because it is important. Now I do say keep it simple, keep it safe. That's all I always say that, but in this instance there's nothing simple about this. It's 100% about safety. Okay, so these gas appliances always come with just this straight piece of gas pipe with a little plastic bung on the end, and that's it. It's just a smooth piece of pipe. Don't be tempted to put your flexible hose over there and a Jubilee clip on. That is definitely a no-no. Okay, what you need is a compression fitting which goes over here, and a compression fitting looks something like this. It's basically 3 parts. Just waiting for that car to go by. You also need, by the way, some copper pipe. If this appliance is some distance away from your gas tank, don't be tempted to fit a load of flexi pipe to it. Use copper pipe. Okay. Right, now that out of the way, let's get back to the compression fitting. So the compression fitting is in 3 parts. You've got this part, a nut, and an olive. Show it like that. And as you can see, I don't know if that's showing up very well. As you can see, it's tapered, so this, as you do these up, it compresses, and I'll show you what I mean. So when you fit these, and this is the mistake people make, you put the nut on first, hope you can see that. You then slide your olive over. Now this is where people go wrong. They put PTFE tape around it. Do not put PTFE tape. PTFE tape is meant for water fittings, not gas fittings. You need a gas joining compound, which is like it's like a paste, and it stays. It doesn't set. It stays flexible. So I haven't got any. I've got some, but I can't find it. So for the purpose of this video, let's just pretend I put some paste on there. But then your fitting goes over the top of that. You do it up finger tight, and once that's done up finger tight, you can see it's still loose. So now you need 2 spanners, and you turn it around about half a turn. That's all you need, and that's enough to compress it down. Don't over tighten it, because you can damage it and it will leak. It'll have the opposite effect. It's just getting that happy golden zone just in the right spot, and that's it. It's as simple as that. Don't use PTFE tape on gas fittings. This is the point I'm trying to make. It's wrong. Don't use it. It can actually cause it to leak over a period of time. Okay, so that's that one. Then once you've got that on there, you then connect your copper pipe, and it's exactly the same. just on the other end. You put your nut, oh, don't lose your olive, your nut goes on first, like this. Let's move that out of the way. Then your olive, and then you put your copper pipe in as far as it'll go, like put it right in as far as it'll go, and then simply do it up. Again, finger tight, and then half a turn with your spanner, or until you can feel it. You can feel it sort of pinch up. Don't force it round. You don't have to over tighten them because you can damage the olive, and again you have the opposite effect, it'll leak. And that is it. It's as simple as that. It is simple, but you don't use PTFE tape. You should be able to pull that out actually. It should slide out of there. Yeah, there you go. Because I haven't done it up. And I haven't done it up yet because I've got to put the paste on it. It's like a gas joining paste. Some people say you don't need the paste. You probably don't, but it's just personal preference. I like to put the paste on. So there you go, that's your gas sorted out. Like I said, don't put your flexible pipe straight over there and put a Jubilee clip around it. If you do want to put your gas pipe, your flexible pipe straight to this, you're still going to need to use one of these. And this is okay if your gas bottle's like really close to your appliance, but even then I don't recommend it. It's exactly the same thing. Put your nut on first, then your olive. This one's slightly different, this is a barrel olive. It still does the same thing though. That goes on. Put that in as far as it'll go. Do it up. Again, put some joining compound in there first, and then tighten it up with a spanner. And just nip it up. You don't have to over tighten it, if you know what I mean. It's not like a nut and bolt situation. All you're doing is compressing that brass olive down around the pipe, forming a seal. And once you've done all that, I'll reiterate it, do get it checked out by a professional. Just get them to give it a good once over. In fact, some insurance companies will probably insist on getting a certificate to say it's been done properly. And that's it. So once I've done all that, then I'll flip this over and put it down. But I need to go and find my paste first. Right, remember, keep it simple, keep it safe. Right, so one of the last things you want to do before you actually turn this over and put it in its final resting place is just have a quick visual scan of everything. Make sure you haven't inadvertently unplugged anything whilst you've been moving it around, getting it in and out of the box, jiggling it around and all that good stuff. You may have inadvertently just pulled on one of these wires and slightly unplugged it. It might not be all the way disconnected, but it might be just slightly out. So just check them all, make sure they're all pushed home. I mean, there's two there, there's a couple back here as well. There's about 4 back there. Just push them, make sure they're all connected, and have a quick scan of all these little pipes as well. Make sure you haven't unplugged anything by mistake. Yeah, just give it a quick scan just to check, because there's nothing worse than putting it in place only to find out there's a wire off, then you've got to get underneath and try and struggle plugging it back in. We've all done that, oh no. So there you are. So that's the last thing to do, and that's exactly what I've done. I've just had a quick look and I've realised I haven't mentioned how to wire these up yet. It's just occurred to me. So on these there's a red and a black wire. The red wire is your positive and your black wire is your negative. Really simple, and it's low voltage. There's nothing high voltage about it, it's just for the ignition. Yeah, and once you've done that, you're good to go. Put it in the hole, which is what I'm going to do right now. Okay, so there's something I just want to share with you, because I've seen at least 2 people do this wrong, and that's put this seal to the plug hole in upside down. And you can always tell if someone's put this upside down because the plug hole sits too proud. Next time you look in someone's camper and they've got one of these sinks, just have a look at their plug hole, and if it's sitting high, you'll know, because you'll get water that doesn't drain down the plug. It sits all the way round because this is sitting too high, and the reason for that is because they've put this seal in upside down. And that's really easy. As you can see, this seal's got a chamfered edge on it. It's easy to put it in like this, and this is what most people do. Well, I've seen 2 people do this. They put it in like this and then bolt that down. And what happens is it does stand proud, and the reason it stands proud is because it's upside down. It's meant to be that way up. Even though it defies all logic, it actually goes this way up. And the reason it goes that way up is because it's got this little lip under there. You see that little lip? And the reason it's got that lip, because this seal goes in the sink first, before the plug hole. If I point it down towards the plug hole, I'll show you what I mean. Try and do this without jerking the camera too much. Right, there we go. So, like I was saying, a lot of people put the seal up that way because of the way the sink is tapered in, and it looks like that's how it's meant to go, but it doesn't. It goes this way up. And what you do, you poke it in the hole, and that little lip holds the seal in place. It's a bit fiddly, but it will go in. There you go. So now that's in place, and it actually goes through and under, so the seal goes in and underneath, and then by placing the plug hole in there, it's actually a tight fit. You have to wedge it in like that, and then the centre screw goes in. This centre screw goes in there like that, and that screws into this part underneath, like so. And that's how you put these seals in properly, like that. And then that, once that's screwed up, that will pull that down nice and flush, and then the water can run down. But if you put the seal in upside down, the water doesn't go over that, and it gathers all the way around here. You end up with a dirty ring around your plug hole. So you can always tell when someone's put that in there wrong, because that's what you end up with, a little dirty ring. So I just wanted to share that with you. It's lunchtime, I'm starving, the sun's out, so I'm going to have a little picnic. So if you like this video, even if you found it useful, and I do hope someone found it useful, please do consider giving me a thumbs up. And if you are new to my channel, please do consider subscribing. And by subscribing to my channel, you'll help me feed a cat. I've got two and they're hungry. I'll put a link up there to the rest of this van build. Thanks for watching, ta-da for now.